Hi everybody. I don't normally do this, and I've never done a stream on my own. But I felt this was kind of really important actually. Um, so we got a ruling off Judge Liman today. I've just been on to Popcorn Planet because I let Andy know and he invited me back on because I'd only just come off stream actually with him. But I'm gonna just quickly go through some of this order. So basically, what has happened, to summarize it, is Judge Lyman has basically denied, without prejudice, Blake Lively's motion to compel the subpoena against Perez Hilton. Now, there's a few reasons. Firstly, the judge says Lively has not alleged that the discovery she seeks from Lavandiera relates to his contacts with the foreign state. Rather, she asserts that Lavandiera has either consented to personal jurisdiction in this court or waived any objections to the contrary. And it's kind of speculated that that may be referring to his motion for a request for a protective order that he filed. Lively then tried to argue, well, he's opened himself up to jurisdiction in New York by filing the request. I've always said I didn't think so. I didn't think that was enough. The reason being is there is no one else that Perez is going to ask for that, because no other judge has got jurisdiction over Lively. The lawsuit, which the subpoena relates to, is in New York, and the subpoena is it comes out of New York. So the judge in Nevada can't issue a protective order over Lively. So he did the right thing by asking Liman for that. I would have left it until the subpoena itself was dealt with, but fair dues. He's perfectly entitled to make the request, and he did. So Lively tried to use it as some kind of, proof of evidence that he is now tied in because he has filed something against her in New York. And I've always said that's ridiculous. I didn't think I was enough. The judges clearly agreed with that, which is amazing. And also in response to the suggestion that Perez has either consented to personal jurisdiction in the court or waived any objections, the judge actually makes a point of saying he has repeatedly indicated that he does not consent to personal jurisdiction in the court. So that's brilliant. It shows where the judge's thinking is. He's also, obviously, Perez is pro se, and he's at a disadvantage to Lively and her team of lawyers. So the judge is basically saying, well, because of the pro se status, he is entitled to a bit more protection. So that's part of his reasoning as well. And that's just, that's absolutely the right decision. So that's the breaking news. It was just a very quick short to say that Judge Lyman has denied Blake Lively's motion to compel the subpoena she's issued against Perez Hilton, and he has denied it for lack of personal jurisdiction, which means that his subpoena will fall under Nevada. So that is wonderful news for Perez. I'm really happy for him. It is denied without prejudice, which means Lively could have another go and bring it back, but I cannot see what kind of argument she could try to make. So has anyone got any questions? Because I'm seeing people in the chat. Hi, everyone. I thought it was just going to be me. So if anyone's got any sort of questions, I'm desperately trying to get hold of CJ so she can let Perez know. But yeah, I haven't heard back from CJ. Oh, hi, Joe. Who's talking? Oh, and Girly as well. Yes, Sean, you're saying what we all think. I should probably say sorry to my mods. Thank you, Christina. I didn't give anyone notice of this. I wasn't expecting to do this actually. So this is such good news. I feel so happy. I've been really emotional actually, today, because CJ was my first friend and I have never seen her like on camera. We've never seen each other on camera, but we talk to each other. We know so much about each other. We just never seen each other on camera. And obviously we've got each other's pictures, on our profiles and things. So we know what each other looks like, but it was still such an emotional moment for me to see, my best friend, one of my longest friends in this game, out there putting herself on camera and being so brave about it, and living her best life. I was just made up for her. So proud of CJ. Hi, MK. It's been, did CJ hit 1,000? I'm so chuffed with her. Hi, B. Hi, JT. I'm sorry. I'm really quite nervous, because I don't normally just jump on a live without warning, and I've never done it on my own. But I felt like this was such a moment. I had to. Oh, just Ricardo. Thank you so much for the super chat. No question, just love. Hello, lovelies. Oh. Yes, Joe, I believe that actually he is still going to be going back to the court on the 2nd of September. Hence, can the judge now sanction liably? I'm not sure. She was entitled to request the transfer. And Perez, I can't remember if I haven't looked at all his Nevada filings because I'm still trying to catch up from when I was taken off with my own subpoena. But I can't remember if he's actually filed a request for sanctions. I can't see what she's done to warrant sanctions from Nevada. She's made requests that she's entitled to make. But I don't know. If he has requested sanctions, though, we should hear how the judge feels about that. Oh, thank you so much, Imagine H. TH. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm so chuffed. It's been really overwhelming. So much has been going on. But this is really such an important ruling. Finally, we're getting some common sense from New York. But as I had a chat with Andy, hopefully he will get a similar sort of outcome now with his own subpoena. But this is really good. This is a good day for journalism and for content creators. Oh, thank you very much, Hikari. Sean, isn't she gorgeous? She is so beautiful. Honestly, she is. It was so surreal to hear her voice. That voice, I recognize it so much. I've been on so many live streams with her, or phone calls or whatever, and then to kind of see the face in front of me. It's not the same as when you've seen someone's photo, but it's the same photo, so you don't see them at different angles or different expressions. But she was such a natural as well at all the interviewing and talking. I was absolutely blown away. I'm buzzing with pride. Nicole, what's the worst that could happen for Perez? He'd have to give his information. Yeah, so I mean, he's won in terms of he's going to get his subpoena heard in Nevada, where the shield laws are much, much tighter, much stronger, and there's a recognition of journalistic privilege. So he is far more likely to have a successful outcome at getting his subpoena quashed in Nevada. Not to say that, I'm not assuming that Judge Liman wouldn't have quashed a subpoena. But Nevada has definitely got very strong shield laws. I think it's going to serve him better. And obviously, there's not the burden, the cost, and everything that goes with it. But it is not a given. He could still be ordered to comply with a subpoena, even in Nevada. So we will have to just wait and see. Thank you so much, Gorazi. I hope I'm getting the names right. If I'm mispronouncing, please forgive me. Tweety Bird, thank you so much for the super sticker. Oh, I feel so nervous doing this. Yeah, I agree, Sally Mac. It is. I don't want to jinx it either, but it really is like. And last night the ruling as well. So while I'm here, I am actually doing the thread for this. I'm just trying to screen share. Bear with. Sorry. I'll show you. I am literally in the middle of writing the thread for this motion, but if I come over to here, so where was it? Yeah, the Judge Liman. Oh, do you know what? I might be better off showing you on this. Share this tab instead. So on here, no. Where is it? I need to, no, I'll just go here actually. So, bear with, trying to find it. So last night we did get something else, which is also going to be important to Perez and Andy. I've just had a chat with them now. The judge did give the cutoff date for. He basically told Lively, look, you can't just go for discovery forever and a day. You're going to have to. There has to be a cutoff date. The Wayfarer had said so. Lively wanted discovery to present, and Wayfarer was of the opinion that it should be maybe a day or two after the filing of the CRD. And then they did something really sensible. They offered a compromise then, and the compromise was the 18th of February, which was the day Lively filed her first amended complaint, and the judges accepted that. So now Lively cannot just go and get never-ending discovery, which is going to limit what she can also get from Andy and Perez, and that's going to be really useful. So I'm really excited about that. I'm proud of CJ too. I am. She's incredible. She's just amazing. That's why I adore. I'm just looking through comments. Sorry. Raffle. Hi, Raffle. Thank you so much, Malalola. I was so bummed and felt so heartbroken for Perez. I thought it was going to take days, and then the New York judge would side with Team Pinocchio. Yeah, he looked so defeated when I watched CJ's stream. Anytime that she came out, I jumped in and out of Andy's and CJ's, but whenever CJ was on, I went to CJ's, and he did look so defeated initially. He really did think that this wasn't going to go his way and it was being sent back to New York. So I am really pleased. I am desperately trying to get a hold of everyone to say, are you aware of this? The only person I could get through to was Andy, but we were able to do a live stream, and hopefully that will be seen and picked up. But I'm really pleased with Perez. He needed this. Lynn, thank you so much for the super sticker. It's just such an overwhelming and emotional day. Can you file a protective order in Nevada? No, I don't think so. I'm saying that it's possible now that it's been decided Nevada has jurisdiction over him. Once he gets this sorted, if he gets the subpoena quashed, there may be an argument for him to say, well, Nevada is the right place to request to file for a protective order. Because the judge is doing something. If he's going to decide on a motion, then he's effectively doing something. But I did think that his request for a protective order initially in New York was the right place. And it still could be the right place even after this is all resolved, because that's where the actual lawsuit tied to the subpoena is. I know we do. We all have so much wrath. At the beach, yes. So that is not abnormal. Judges will talk because, and that's a good thing actually. You want that. I said on Andy's channel, this order is a 7-page order that has been ready to go for a while, but for probably for a few days. Because it's not just that it's 7 pages; it's 7 pages of very detailed law. Judge Liman has done his research and he has packed it full of case law citations and quotes. And he's been very careful in his ruling, I think, almost to effectively try to block Lively. Not block her, I don't mean like that, but Lively has got a huge hurdle now to overcome to try and bring this back to New York, even though he has denied it without prejudice, so she could refile. I think there's no room for an argument for her to add anything more to try again. I think it's going to be Jed Wallace all over again, and I really do need to do the thread for her response to him. But I've been so bogged down today with everything going on and all the excitement. So I haven't got to. I'm falling behind. But we can mark Perez safe from New York. I would say Lively, but he's not. But technically, it's New York. Yeah, her notebook. She was so proud of that, bless her. I can't wait to have a proper discussion with her after it's all sorted out and everything. Just looking through. I know, wasn't Perez looking really dapper at the court today? That was pretty amazing. It was like it had florals, but it was sophisticated florals. It wasn't like when someone said to me, "Oh, Perez is wearing florals," I had images of something out of Austin Powers, but thankfully it wasn't like an in-your-face floral attire. It was, he looked smart. He looked very dapper. He looked really nice. And Ari and CJ, they looked incredible in what they were wearing as well. Loved it. Right, Jane. So the good news is that Perez Hilton Judge Liman has basically said that Perez Hilton is not subject to New York law. So Judge Liman is not going to be dealing with his subpoena that he was served by Blake Lively. That it will be in the Nevada court. Sharon, I can say it because I lived in Wales for 20 years. My mother's Welsh. Yeah. Yes, Megyn Kelly did win her motion to quash as well. So I'm hoping that will help Perez and Andy. I don't know what's going on with Candace's. I know they asked her to hold, but you know, I haven't heard any more about that. I'll have to watch her. Yeah, Joe, they probably are. I could see that. CJ and Perez out drinking on the strip, down in $100 margaritas. Yeah. Max. Do we know if the letter from Liman come in before Perez's hearing? It did not. It was definitely not on the docket. It wasn't even on the docket because I was on Andy's show. Andy was streaming for hours. And I was on Andy's show, I think in the last half an hour of it, I jumped on for about 20 minutes to give some thoughts and opinions. I had a very impromptu invitation to join. I had about 3 minutes notice and I had no notes or anything in front of me. So I kind of limped through it, but I did my best. However, this was definitely not on the docket. It went on about 5 minutes after Andy come off the stream. I noticed it and I messaged Andy and said, oh, by the way, this is here. And we went through what that meant and then he went live again. Let's see, I can have a look actually to see from the metadata when it was actually filed. 10:43. Yeah, so that was filed at so the hearing, that's my time by the way, it's UK time. So the hearing started at 8:15 my time. I can't remember what that is in Nevada's time. I want to say it's 11:15. Is it 11:15? Yes, I'm pretty sure it was 11:15. CJ said. Anyway, so it was 8:15 my time. But that document didn't go on. The order from the judge did not hit the docket until 10:43 my time. So that's 2.5 hours after the hearing started. So it definitely wasn't on the docket. I don't believe that it was just put together today, though. It's 7 pages and far too detailed. Sorry, I'm just looking for some questions. Oh, Rosewald, yeah, he's just done that like less than an hour ago. It hit the docket, so yay. It's just happened. Just Ricardo, thank you again for the super chat. Moran's also subpoenaed Megyn Kelly and lost. Well, that was predictable. I mean, she's a lawyer in her own right, you know. There have been 3 lawyers that I know of who have been subpoenaed now. So that's obviously Megyn Kelly, myself, and there's another ex-user. And it sounds like Lively didn't get anywhere with any of us. I don't know why they subpoenaed Megyn Kelly. I don't know why they subpoenaed her, because she did a couple of interviews with Brian Friedman after the filing. That was ridiculous. Oh, thank you, Max. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, this is so exciting. It's really overwhelming, isn't it? I'm trying to think. Is there anyone's got any questions though? I'm looking through the chat now for all the questions. Does this rule in over jurisdiction apply to all content creators that were subpoenaed, including Andy? No, it doesn't, because it's a different jurisdiction again, so it doesn't automatically apply. But what Andy can do now is to raise it as, well, this is what happened with Perez Hilton. So he can cite the ruling. Sean, I completely agree. He has worked his ass off. He definitely deserves it. He's done a great job. He did such a good job with his filings. I was a bit I was cautious about the initial ones in New York because they were bordering on crossing a line, and that was very clear because the judge, filed an order basically telling him, look, if you carry on with this, I'm going to find you in contempt of court. Contempt of court is no joke. It does carry substantial fines or even prison. So, but I don't know whether I'm saying that though. I threw in a lot of snark into my filings for my own subpoena, but I kind of kept it within a limit, and it was never aimed at the judge either. It was always aimed at Lively, just because I was really put out that she'd even done this. But I had to make a point of not losing focus, like making sure the judge knew what my point was, why the subpoena was improper, why it didn't apply to me, especially on jurisdiction arguments in my case, because obviously I'm a UK resident, so I'm not subject to a US subpoena. You can't just write out a subpoena from a US court and try to apply it to someone who does not even reside in the country, is not subject to the law. And that was the same for Ashley as well. Thank you so much, Tanya. I really appreciate that. I don't know why I've been so nervous about doing something like this. Everyone's been so lovely and kind. Oh, you're so welcome, Tweety Bird. It is really good. I know. I thank you. I think I needed to hear stuff like that because I've always had a guest, because then it's like just a normal conversation, that flows back and forth. And obviously the people I have on as guests, I absolutely think the world of them, all of them. So, but yeah, this is me stepping out of my comfort zone. If CJ can do it by, showing her face on camera, then I can take a little baby step of my own. Yeah, she did, Jane. She said the judge was really nice, and that's good. So if the hearing and the jurisdiction of the subpoena is going to be staying with this judge, then it is positive to know that he was very he was kind to Perez, and he was very sensitive to the fact that Perez was pro se. Robin 9597. Judge Liman posted his ruling at about an hour ago. I was going to say 11:15, but that's my time. An hour ago, and that was 2.5 hours after the hearing that Perez was at. Sorry, my voice is still a bit shaky. I still have COVID. Yeah, Rosewell, I agree with that. Sorry. Yes, I think it's normal for judges especially in federal cases, because they are cross-state. It's quite normal for a judge who may have to deal with a subpoena that is relevant to a lawsuit in a different state under a different judge, for them to talk to each other. So, and you'd want that as well. You want them to be sharing information and making sure that the right decision is being made, even if you don't agree with the decision, as long as it's the right one and it's within the rules. That's kind of procedurally, that's the most important thing. Yeah, everyone should be going to watch CJ when she goes live. That is important. And definitely go and support her. So CJ is citizen journalist. Her YouTube channel is citizen journalist journalist 24. Journalist 24. That's also her X handle as well. Let's have a look. Did he decide on Jed Wallace? No. So what happened is I'm still doing my thread on it, but so Jed Wallace has filed his motion to dismiss. That's absolutely hilarious. I love Jed Wallace's lawyer, Chip Babcock. He is so funny. I always practically break my ankle running into Jed Wallace filings because they're funny. So he filed another motion to dismiss. In fairness, Lively's second amended complaint was so much worse than the first one. I do not know what her lawyers were thinking about putting pictures of her, referring to herself as a New York lady, and oh look, Steve Sauritz has bought a $20 T-shirt from Amazon, so that this proves her case. It's just crap. And in perfect style, Chip Babcock said as much in the motion to dismiss. But last night, Lively's team filed was it last night or today? They filed a response. I haven't yet seen it. I'm expecting it to be a big nothing burger, a big waste of time, and a big waste of Lively's money. Then we're going to get a reply in 7 days from Jed Wallace. So that's all going to be trickled down. Judge Liman has not ruled on Jed Wallace yet. Let's have a look here. Eliza Little, thank you very much for the super chat. You're lovely and kind to make it easy to Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm so timid on my own. I feel a bit lonely. Not lonely, but it's oh, I need someone to talk to. But this is great. I'm enjoying this. Sam Private, thank you so much for the super chat. Great job on Andy's show and here. I hope you feel better. Thanks for the coverage. Oh, you're very welcome. I love Andy. I love going on his show. So I was more than happy to jump on there. And the one thing I will say is, for being one of the content creators who was subpoenaed myself, it's definitely brought us all together. When Andy says, well, all it's done, is because he had an issue with Perez, and now they've both been subpoenaed. They've put the differences aside and come together. And honestly, the subpoenas have really done that. The support groups that we were all put together, where we're all supporting each other and talking things through, they existed, and there was real camaraderie, and there wasn't any kind of snobbery either. I'm not a big channel. I've only been doing this for 3 months, and I kind of stepped into it quite accidentally. I just, I was watching from the sidelines, the case on X. And then I noticed no one was really talking about the filing, so when I started, I didn't even know how to do a thread. CJ kind of showed me how to do a thread. And then from there on, I just kind of used my legal experience and knowledge, learned, because it takes me a bit of time to do threads because I'm not American law trained. So I do have to go and spend time researching what I'm talking about. But then I just put things together because no one else seemed to be covering it. And it kind of really took off from there. But I'm absolutely loving this. But there's no kind of like the bigger channels weren't looking down at the smaller channels. It was, everyone was holding each other up. Everyone was, being really supportive, really kind, and it was just amazing. A wonderful community. Not Actually Golden did a video on Liman's really. Not Actually Golden's wonderful. I really love her. She's very matter of fact. And she is kind of here for just saying the law as it is. And she'll say if she thinks someone's done something good or done something bad, regardless of the side they're on. And she goes a bit more deeper into the law, which is to be expected, than I do, because she is American trained. So she knows the procedures inside out, whereas I have to go and look it all up and piece it all together. But I'm learning a lot, and I'm getting faster at it now. But she's definitely someone I would, every time I finish doing a thread or something, because I never go and look at anyone's channels or read anything, I just download the file in, screenshot it page by page, and then highlight what I want to do, and then go and put my thread together, put it out, and then I will almost always go to Not Actually Golden or Little Girl Attorney or Brit. They're both on TikTok. And I will go and see what their thoughts and opinions are on it as well, just to see whether they're similar, whether there's any differences, because two different opinions on something doesn't mean that anyone's particularly wrong. Like, lawyers can argue, both sides of the coin. That's what they're trained to do as well. So it's just more often than not, it'll be, as long as it's not a procedural thing, if it's an opinion on, like, well, I think the judge should rule in this way, then that is an opinion. That's, and either two different opinions, potentially they could be right. It's just, how does the judge feel? And the judge will almost always have another opinion or another direction he can go in. So it's curious to see how the thought processes go. I've almost always been on the similar line to Not Actually Golden. I find her the most balanced, her view. Her or Omar. Omar, I just adore. He's got voice like honey. I just love listening to him first thing in the morning when I'm, getting up and I want to start my day really gently, or last thing at night when I'm trying to settle down. I will listen to Omar's channel because his voice is just so soothing. But he has got great legal takes, and I've been on his channel a few times, and we're always, got the same thought process. Burning Helen, thank you so much. I'm so glad you put a little comment in as well. That's so sweet. Thank you. I'm waffling a bit, but I do that when I'm nervous. Oh, Omar, I was just talking about you. Hi, darling. Yeah, I do you know what? I do agree with that. But I am glad it's here now. But yeah, this could have been made much sooner. I don't know. I just don't know why they called a hearing today for the judge in Nevada to just turn around and say, well, I'm going to wait and see whether Liman decides whether he's got jurisdiction over you or not. It's like, what? What was the point of this? I'm going to drop you an email as well, Omar. Yeah, I want to get in touch. Hence Homad. Perez's judge got handed something during Perez's show. Does anyone know what that is? I might have missed that bit. Like, I couldn't hear everything. Was it something that CJ said or Ari? If someone can elaborate what that was. No, Perez hasn't won the motion to quash. He's just won the. He's won the. What is it? It's technically not a motion, so it's not being transferred out of Nevada, if that makes sense. Lively's motion to compel the subpoena in New York was denied, and Judge Liman has conceded he does not have jurisdiction over Perez Hilton. So, but Perez hasn't won his motion to quash yet. That battle is still to come. Yeah, Victoria, and that's what I said to Andy on his channel. I think this ruling last night on the discovery cutoff date, which that was really important. We needed the judge to, make a decision on the scope of discovery, and he did that last night by, putting a cutoff date, and I do think it will benefit Perez and Andy. And anyone else who's got a subpoena, because there are, I believe, content creators. There's been a new batch of subpoenas, so there are content creators who are still fighting some of the subpoenas. Oh, was it 12:15, Christina? Thank you. I always get confused over the time differences. Victoria, has anyone heard anything about Candace's subpoena? No, I haven't heard. I think I was just saying a little while ago, I haven't heard any more about Candace Owens' subpoena. I'm not. I don't get time to really watch her channel that much. So I will go back and see if there's any updates. But if anyone knows of any updates as well, like, please do let us know. I'm assuming the name is Joy. I hope I'm getting that right. I'm really sorry if I haven't. Why didn't Liman publish this before the hearing in Nevada for judicial economy? That would have allowed the judge to rule today, right? Liman may have held it back because of today's hearing. There may have been a conversation, I mean, we don't have everything that was asked and all the answers that come out of the hearing today. We have the bits that have been relayed to us by Perez, by Ari, by CJ, who, and whilst they did great jobs, absolutely phenomenal jobs, none of them are legal people. So what they might have thought was important and relevant, they may have kind of not picked up on other things, which maybe I would have gone in and thought, right, okay, that's an important point. So we don't know absolutely everything that was said, everything that happened, everything that was asked. So there may have been, I suspect there was probably a phone call between Liman and the Nevada judge afterwards to kind of feed back some of what happened. And Judge Liman may have been reserving the order until after hearing back from Nevada. But I mean, I agree with some of the things, though. Like I said on Andy's channel as well, some of the efficiency of some of the decisions have been a bit, inefficient, for want of a better word. Like the Isabella Pereira subpoena, I agreed with Omar. I was like, well, the lawyer's here. And he is making arguments. He's clearly read the subpoena because he's comparing it to Lively's, and he is making some arguments about it being overbroad and duplicative and so on. So he is technically arguing. So I don't know why the judge couldn't, for the sake of efficiency, have said, look, Wayfarer, you didn't really do enough to find, Isabella Pereira, but the lawyer's here, he's shown up, and he's now making some arguments about the subpoena. Lawyer, why don't you just, accept it? I order you to accept it on behalf of your client. Get on with it. But no, they instead of that, he's sending Wayfarer on a tangent to try and find someone who is making it difficult to be found. I don't know, I just feel it's personally it's a bit of a waste of time. Kiss me, Kate. Yeah, I understand that. I don't disagree with it either. I don't know when. I don't know enough about this story. I heard Andy getting a bit upset about it, but then CJ went live again, so I went back to listen to what she had to say. But I don't know when her motion to quash was. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, if anyone does know which docket she filed her motion to quash, I'll pull it up and I will have a look through that and either do another live or do a thread on it. I'm curious to know what her responses were. Yeah, I completely agree, AA. I mean, this is what it does actually boil down to. I got subpoenaed. I was definitely not involved in any smear campaign. The suggestion was ridiculous. I just did not, organically, I did not believe her. And organically, I didn't particularly like her, but I knew of her reputation. I didn't know of her particularly as an actress. She was Ryan Reynolds' wife. That was about the extent of it. I'd never seen anything she was actually in. But, as someone who has been through domestic violence, the film was actually very important to me. And to see the way it was being marketed was just, it was gross. It was really disappointing. So, yeah. People are entitled to voice that criticism, and they should not have to fear being subpoenaed and dragged into a lawsuit. And what I will say is, thank God I have my legal training, because protecting my identity was part of the reason I do that is because of what I went through. And if I wasn't able to confidently argue it myself, then I would have left myself exposed to, having my identity thrown out there, having my location and, a lot of personal information being put out that I didn't want out. I didn't want my abusive ex-husband catching wind of. So I'm kind of grateful that I have my knowledge, my skills, and I'm kind of glad I got to showcase them as well on a huge platform in the end. Vanessa, no. So what the judge in Nevada said, he didn't say he doesn't have jurisdiction. He's saying what he said in the hearing was, Liman has to decide whether he has jurisdiction, which has now happened, and Liman has said that he doesn't have jurisdiction. So now it comes back to the judge in Nevada. The judge in Nevada was he was prepared to take a back seat and kind of let Liman make the call. And now Liman has made the call and has decided that, the subpoena should be in Nevada. I'm just looking for more questions. Do you think Meghan waited until today to talk about her subpoena, possibly because of professional relationship? I don't know whether professional relationship, are you referring to the fact that she was previously Brian Friedman's client? I don't think so. There may have been a reason that she had to wait for her motion to quash to have been completed before she spoke. I'm not sure of it. That's why I want to find out which docket the filings are on and have a good look at them. I'll know a bit more. I know nothing really about Megyn Kelly's subpoena other than it's been quashed. I know no other details. I learned tidbits about it from looking at Andy's show, but then I was dipping back out to go and see CJ live, and I didn't catch a full story. But if anyone's got any information, I'm happy to, if you leave comments or something, I will get to them and reply, and I'll have a look into anything. I'm curious myself. Thank you. I'm guessing you're talking about our filings. Yes, we were respectful. We were to the point. I mean, one of the things I did not in the motion to quash itself, but in the letter that I followed up, because I was so annoyed. I was annoyed at the hoops we had to jump through. Like Cassidy had to promote a member of her team to a manager so the manager could accept service and respond to the subpoena to preserve. That was how she had to go, preserving her identity. I had to literally legally change my name to Leanne Newton. Now, thankfully, in the UK, it's quite an easy process. Otherwise, I would have had to file my real name. But we were annoyed that the way it was withdrawn, and then there was implications being made from Lively's lawyers that that we'd met and conferred when we hadn't, that we'd handed over information, and that's why they suddenly didn't need their subpoena. And none of this was true. And one of the things I found the letter from Ezra Hudson talking about us really odd, because it was like the first chunk of it was talking about us 5 content creators. So that's me, Ashley Brianna Eve, Lauren Naidy, Cassidy O'Connell, and Ken's. We're the ones who filed the motions to quash. Not one of us had met and conferred, and not one of us has handed over any information whatsoever because we had none. And just Ezra Hudson's letter when she was withdrawing the subpoena was talking about us and implying we've met and conferred. And then at the end of it, it was implying that we'd met and conferred and we handed over information. But in the middle was this really weird, out of place comment about Blake Lively being mocked for the word untraceable. And she put in a screenshot of a text from Melissa Nathan, and I just found it really odd. And she was moaning basically that everyone's attributing this word untraceable smear campaign to Lively when it was in fact Melissa Nathan who'd said it. And I was so annoyed, and it was so out of place. And I just put in there, I was like, well, I basically put something along the lines of, well, forgive me, thank you for clarifying that it was actually Melissa Nathan. Forgive me for assuming that Blake Lively, was the person who coined the term. She's used it in every filing, in every docket across the whole of the United States. So, I assumed that she had just taken authorship. I think it was a bit of snark, and I was just a bit annoyed. But we were generally respectful. We tried to be. AA. Will this affect the judge in New York in any way? No, it won't. No, it won't. Kiss me, Kate. Do I think the Vegas judge called New York again after the Perez court hearing? Yes, I do. I think that's very likely. I don't know for sure, so I'm not saying yeah, that's exactly what happened. I'm saying I think there's a good chance. So I would assume that's what's happened. Hi, Jessica Lisi. Oh, it's so great you turned up. You're not late either. I didn't actually put out anything to say I was going to do this. I didn't have plans. I just kind of went, oh, well, I'll just read this. But thank you for coming. Do I know where to find the docket of Megyn Kelly's motion to quash? I don't know what state she's in. So if anyone, I'll do some due diligence, but yeah, if anyone does know, that would be great. Yes, okay, you're doing great. Yeah, thank you. 100% support you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I thought CJ was. Oh, you thought she was Lauren Sanchez? Yeah, I can see a resemblance. Do you know, oddly enough, right? I've always said to CJ, because we have these random conversations, like, well, who would play us in a movie about all of this? And I've always said Emily Blunt. It's got to be a British actress. Emily Blunt, Emma Stone, or Keira Knightley. And CJ has come up with a few people, but I gotta say this, right? I said to her, do you know, and bearing in mind, I'd only seen the photo at the time. I hadn't seen her live, but I said to her, you look like the mum in Jane the Virgin, the actress, Andrea Navarro. I was like, yeah, you look like, Xiomara is the character's name. And she was like, oh yeah, I suppose I could see it. But when I saw her today, I was like, oh my God, no, I called it. Absolutely right. Gorgeous woman. Oh, thank you, Sam. I love talking to Andy. He's such a little sweetheart. He makes it easy as well because he asks questions. First time I was on there, I was rather unprepared, but I wanted to, sort of participate as much as possible. But I told him of the judge's ruling, so by that time I'd skimmed it. I hadn't read it in depth, but I skimmed it, so I felt a bit more prepared. Lynn's asking, will it be the same judge? If you're talking about the Nevada judge, will the same judge be continuing onwards? Yeah, it should be. Unless it's reassigned, in which case something would be put on the docket about that. But there's no reason for that to anticipate that's going to happen. Almost midnight where I am. Actually, it's 1:15 midnight. It's really late here. This is a good question. Sterling 1. Don't lively lawyers know they can't subpoena out-of-state parties? I would hope they would. However, they didn't stop them doing it to nearly all of us. They sent New York subpoenas to tech companies in California. They sent it to Nevada for X, even though X's headquarters and their legal, where subpoenas, the address where subpoenas get served is actually in Texas. And they did it for people's data from, people all over the place. Canada, the UK. Shusty was, a Norwegian citizen who was currently resident in Spain. There was, now we've got people in Argentina, from what I understand. Not to mention all the actual Americans who who were having their data subpoenaed as well. In completely, they were all over the place. So they weren't proper subpoenas, and we spent a lot of time arguing the jurisdictional arguments. And I mean, clearly we had a good argument because she withdrew them. She didn't even attempt to fight any of us. Oh, thank you so much, Khaleesi. I appreciate that. Lara, I'm so sorry. I didn't even plan to do this. I was like, this news dropped and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to do it. And I was honestly, I was just reading it, like, and I was on a different screen. I wasn't looking at the chat. And like, I suddenly come back to the chat, and it's 300 people. And I was like, oh crap. What do I do? Jake Forrest, do you think it's improper for Google to ask its content creators to submit motions to quash instead of just telling Global to F off? No, I don't think it's improper. They have the choice to fight it, but I think it was, bear in mind, only Google did this. X did nothing. But I think Google said to people, look, if you want to make your objections, do that, and then let us know, send us a copy of what you file. And I think they were prepared to take up the fight if enough people objected. They weren't going to fight it, like, especially if some of the accounts were, as was the case with the X subpoena, many of the accounts on that were actually like suspended, or that they no longer existed, for various reasons. So that's why, even though the X subpoena had the most number of content creators subpoenaed in one subpoena, they had 20 compared to was it 16 on Google and 7 on TikTok. But you only really heard of myself and one other content creator. So and I can see why Google wouldn't rush to spend resources and money fighting a subpoena if if most of it was like the accounts were no longer active, or the people who held the accounts were not particularly bothered themselves. I thought that was a better way of doing it, actually. X didn't give us anything. They really didn't. They gave us the phone number for the ACLU, which was completely irrelevant to me because I'm not an American citizen. And I actually got in touch because there was a typo on my subpoena. So I got in touch with X through the support service. Bear in mind, it's the premium support service as well. And I said, well, what should I do? Are you still going to be responding to this, considering the typo? And I got a breakdown of what was basically tech support. Have you tried turning your computer off and on again? Have you tried clearing the cache? That kind of stuff. It was just absolutely rubbish. It was nothing specific whatsoever regarding the subpoena. And I never did get a response either. So that's when I decided to just kind of go at it by myself. And thank God, because even with the typo was so insignificant. It was still so clear that the subpoena was for my account that it would have been enforceable. And I had to make all of these arguments, and thankfully the subpoena was withdrawn. But it was annoying. Kiss me, Kate. Yes, CJ is definitely Lauren Sanchez's twin with less boob. Oh, bless her. I keep checking my phone, like, CJ, have you seen my message? Have you told Perez? starting to even sound like her now. No, yes, no, yeah. Oh, yes. So CJ has replied, "Thank you, just making it home." Right. Okay. So she's probably going to talk about this ruling as well in her live, and I will be in the chat there. Oh, I feel so terrible. I'm all of my mods. I am so sorry, guys. I really had no plan for this. I would have let you know. It was just such important news. I thought I've got to go live and I've got to try it. I'm so sorry. But thank you, all of you, for showing up. My voice is going now. Sorry. I'm just looking for any more questions. I don't know if this has already been done, but Jane's asking for CJ's link to be posted. So if that hasn't been done, if one of you guys could do that, thank you. Hi, James. Thank you. I appreciate that. Liman said he hasn't got jurisdiction. I expect next Tuesday, Nevada Lively's lawyers will. Well, I don't think they will. Because now Liman has said, look, I don't have jurisdiction. I'm not so sure Lively will push that point at the hearing next week. I'll be interested to hear about that. I believe CJ's planning to be there for that hearing too, so I will check in with her and keep my ear to the ground, see what she says. But I mean, like I say, the ruling today from Judge Liman on the jurisdiction of the subpoena for Perez Hilton, it is without prejudice. So Lively can, she can refile. But today's hearing was about jurisdiction, and the judge in Nevada did say he was leaving the door open for Liman to assert jurisdiction, and Liman appears to not be willing to do that based on his rule, and he has categorically stated he has no jurisdiction over Perez. So I don't think there's going to be a push for a transfer. But she definitely made the argument initially. TH, yes, I'll be doing a thread. I don't know if it's going to be tonight now, because I've not even finished the one on the judge's ruling, the motion to compel Wayfarer. I'm going to finish that, and I'll probably do the Jed Wallace one in the morning, because it's quite long, and I always like to go into detail with Jed Wallace ones because there's so much tea in there. And I've always said right from the start, he is the one person I feel should not be in this lawsuit. I feel like if anyone's got a case to get out of it, it's him. Oh, thank you very much, Ricardo. I appreciate that. Yeah, I agree with you, James. I think the judge will quash the subpoena. The Nevada shield laws are incredibly strong. The New York ones are really good, but Nevada is even stronger. So I think Perez is, now it's staying in Nevada. I think Perez stands a really good chance of being successful with his motion to quash. Yeah, Sam, it is late for me. But I kind of run on this kind of time anyway, since this case, like, because so many of the other content creators are obviously based in America or Canada, so I try to align some of my time when I'm doing this, like in the morning, my morning, because America's still asleep, so I try and catch up with some of the filings on my threads, and then I try to be around my evening and night time a little bit, to either collaborate with them or, talk to them. When we were doing the subpoenas and we were working on putting our motions to quash together, I mean, I was up at all times, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes, just, bouncing back ideas or file sharing and stuff to edit and do stuff with each other's filings. I'm quite used to this though, because my area of law is corporate law. And so I'm used to having to be up, like on, if I'm doing something with a firm in China, I'll be up on China's time. So that I'm okay with that. I'm still looking. Yeah, a lot of people I've noticed a lot of people saying they're having issues finding CJ's channel. I did wonder if there was something not quite right, if something had happened with it, because her video as well, it just suddenly, when she ended the live stream, after they come out of court, the video just said it's not available. And then I was struggling to find her channel, and I'm subscribed to her. And she's subscribed to me. So we should be able to find each other's channels, but I had a little bit of difficulty. I don't know what's going on there. No, thank you, Christina, for putting the link in. So I'm still looking for some questions. If anyone has got anything else, thank you as well for putting Omar's channel in as well. If Omar's still here, I dropped a little comment on your post on YouTube the other day. Now you're not on Instagram. I'm not quite sure how to get in touch. So if you can send me a message or something and let me know what's the best way to get in touch. Nag found something regarding Lively subpoenaing or doing a motion to quash for the private investigators. Oh, okay. I'll have to go and watch that video then. I haven't seen it yet, so if anyone's got any information or has seen that, please do let me know. I haven't seen it myself yet, though, but I will definitely be going to have a look. And I've got the Q&A tomorrow, like a normal weekly one that I do with DFJ. So I will, if I find out what Nags sort of talks about, I can go over that with DFJ tomorrow as well in our video. Let's see. How will Lively's camp spin this? That's a good question. I'm sure there'll be something. I don't know. Do you know, if I'm going to look for someone's opinion, anyone's opinion on the PR spin that's going to be played out, it'll be Ashley Brianna Eve. I might drop her a message and see how she thinks it will go down. But she's the one who is the all-knowing on PR tactics that are being employed here. And she's my go-to source. Could we put a link in for her channel, guys, if that's okay? Yeah, I think that was I think that's pretty much all of the all the questions I can see. I'm getting a little tired of losing my voice now. So, question. My only question is, how's Blake feeling at the moment? Well, she's aged in this last week alone. She's had a birthday. Her husband didn't wish her happy birthday. She's another year closer to 40. Her former best friend has got engaged and she's not invited to the party. She's not going to be a maid of honor or bridesmaid or whatever. And she's not managed to catch Perez Hilton. It's not been a great week for her. Oh, is that what she's doing? She's subpoenaing him, the private investigator. God, the woman doesn't give up, does she? She's like a cockroach. Who was lying in the first... I need information here. Who was lying in the first 5 minutes of her death? Was it Blake Lively? Oh! Is that... I heard her say that she was aware of Colleen Hoover in the depot, but there's interviews being floated around which clearly, where she's like saying, I've never heard of Colleen Hoover until I accepted the role, until I was brought on for the role. So I don't know if that's the lie you're on about, but let me know. Right. Oh, thank you, Chuck Tom. I'm really sorry. I'm not doing a good job of getting your name right. But thank you. I really appreciate that. People really struggling to find CJ's channel. Oh, I'll have to. There may be a problem with the channel, because I know that the links that my mods are putting in are the right links, and so I don't know what's happening there. One of the Downton Abbey girls. I love Downton Abbey. I just want to say that. But I do. I adore Downton Abbey. I always said that I was a bit like the Dowager. The character played by Maggie Smith, Dame Maggie Smith, a great loss, British national treasure. The sharp tongue. That character reminds me of my own grandmother who passed away some time ago. But I think I've inherited that as well, that razor sharp tongue. But I love that character. I love the program as well. Sorry, that was a little sidetrack. Rosewald, I think the 200 people subpoenaed so far are probably just content creators at this point. Like, there are so many people. We're already in the 100, past 100, and we're not even at the family, friends, cast, crew, the various production studios, all the relevant people that were actually, in much closer proximity to the film. There is going to be several hundred people subpoenaed in this court case. It is going to be ridiculous. And not ridiculous because that's what it is. It's a film set. But, compared to an average employment dispute type lawsuit, it's going to be wild. And each party as well, because you got to think there are different, You got Jones v. Abel, Jones v. Wayfarer. You got Lively v. Wayfarer. We did have Wayfarer v. Lively et al. There was like, a bunch of other people, the New York Times and all. You got Jed Wallace as well. He's in 3 or 4 different places. And then you've got the various tech companies. And we've not even started to look at Sony, WME, Hugh Jackman, Brandon Sklenar, cast, crew, anyone else who is involved with the film. Seriously, anyone else. There will be hundreds and hundreds, probably into thousands. So, right. Oh, one sec. I'm just going to have a look at that. I think I just mentioned this, yes. Blake has either subpoenaed or put in a motion to compel for the private investigators. I take it this isn't the third, but this is not the same law firm that did the investigation into the complaints against Wayfarer. This is something different. Because it sounds sketchy when you say, private investigators that Friedman uses, but law firms use private investigators all the time. That is quite normal. That's how you trace people. That's how you get some financial records or some evidence, They use them all the time. They're perfectly normal. But I just want to clarify that because it can sound like, that Friedman was up to something dodgy, but he wasn't. Hi, Fed Up Fitness. I think I responded to your message on Popcorn Planet. No, I'm not just a paralegal. I am a lawyer. I'm still looking to see what questions there are. I thought I keep thinking I see questions, but it's actually like responding to someone else in the chat. Yeah, I am going to be switching off in a minute. Thank you so much, Christina, Laura, and Millennial Mom. I really appreciate you guys. I will make a habit of doing these, no notice things. That's all right. I'm just checking now the last few. But if anyone, like I say, it's question and answer session tomorrow with DFJ. If anyone wants to ask questions, please do. You can leave them in the comments of this video, or you can join the live chat tomorrow with us. We'll be talking about all of the week's events, including especially Perez. Actually, it's going to be a Perez focused show tomorrow because, well, why not? He's awesome. He deserves a show dedicated to him. Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Yeah, that's where I've probably seen it. It's Shasti. Yes, she did say in an interview she didn't know anything about the book, but in the deposition she said she did. So I think that is. Oh, okay. Here's one. Marie, wouldn't it all fall under work product? I'm guessing we're talking about the private investigators here, so I'm going to come at it from that perspective. But potentially, yes. I think that's exactly the argument they're going to make is, that it'd be attorney-client privilege because Friedman has hired him in his capacity as a lawyer, and for the purposes of, it's like, do you remember Stephanie Jones when Wayfarer tried to compel Edgeworth, the subpoena they served Edgeworth, who were the IT forensics people who extracted Jennifer Abel's phone and provided security for her termination meeting. And they were told no, because Stephanie Jones cited attorney-client privilege. And Liman upheld that and said to Wayfarer, no, you can't compel them. So I would hope that Wayfarer would make a similar argument. And yes, it should fall under work product too. If it's part of the case, it's part of what they're building and their strategy, it should definitely fall under work product. What time? So I think I'm assuming you're asking about the Q&A sessions with DFJ tomorrow. That'll be 4 p.m. Eastern. We do it every week at 4 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. And so many positive comments as well about my chat with Mandy Magnan from In the Frame with Mandy, which we did that last night actually. I love that woman so much. She is just one of the nicest people, and I could talk to her for hours, and I usually do when we get together on a live stream, because I think we've done 3 together now. We just talk for ages. I love her energy. But the feedback was so positive. It was by far and away the most positive feedback I've had for any guest. So I'm going to try and reach out to Mandy, and I will see if she's interested in doing something on a bit of a regular basis. Not necessarily every week, but maybe every 2 weeks or once a month or something. She's just wonderful, and people really loved her yesterday, which was great. All right, Max. So with Judge Liman's cut up on the subpoena, how does this impact the Wayfarer subpoena against Isabella? It won't have cut up on the subpoena. I don't know. Are you talking about Perez or the deadline date? Nothing will impact the subpoena against Isabella Ferreira. Wayfarer can keep attempting to serve her, and they can refile for alternative service again because the judge denied it, but he denied it without prejudice. He's basically said to Wayfarer, you haven't done enough. And I suspect what actually happened really was they have done enough, but they didn't lay it all out for the judge. So his ruling wasn't entirely unfair. I just think it was a bit inefficient given the lawyer was there. However, Judge Liman, like many federal judges, sounds quite a stickler for the rules. So he's sent them back out to continue trying to serve her, trying to find her. I anticipate, if it was me, I would be quite snarky. So Isabella's lawyer recommended contacting a talent agency and doing a skip trace. So I'd be like, if I was Wayfarer's lawyer, I'd be doing that and then going back and saying, well, we tried this. We literally tried your suggestions. You still can't find your client, but you're here. So I don't know. I can see him doing that. But I mean, what Wayfarer's problem with that was they said, well, we didn't just pull the addresses out of thin air, but they also didn't say where they got them from. Even if it's blatantly obvious, they've got to lay it out for the judge, because the judge isn't going to sit there and guess where they've got it from. They have to lay that out, and they didn't. So it's fair. Yes, Mandy Magnan. She's fabulous. Who's Mandy? Oh, So she's on Instagram. I think she's got a YouTube channel as well, but she's on Instagram. It's Mandy Magnan. Her YouTube channel is called In the Frame with Mandy. I don't know if I'm still scrolling down, but I don't know if the mods. Oh yeah, you have put Mandy's YouTube in. Thank you, Christina. She is an actress. She's an actress herself, so she comes at it from the perspective of understanding the entertainment world. And she's just such a delight. She's one of the most bubbliest people. And she has quite strong reviews as well, especially about Stephanie Jones, which I think we all have. Right. Millennial Mum. Yeah, I'm reading the question you just sent me. If Blake Lively is allowed to subpoena the private investigation firm that Brian Friedman shouldn't Wayfarer subpoena the CIA guy? It doesn't quite work like that. It's not quite tit for tat. I hear that a lot actually. A lot of people say when I do my threads and I say, "Oh, judges ruled that Wayfarer have to do this." I quite often people will say, "Well, can Wayfarer ask the same thing?" It's not quite how it works. The requests have got to be tailored to the claims that are being made. And it's not the requests that Lively is going to have of Wayfarer are going to be different to what Wayfarer have. Have the request like Wayfarer are not alleging that Lively has been smearing them and is still smearing them, so they're not going to be looking for discovery for things like that, and they can't get that kind of discovery just because Lively's asking for it. It is Lively's asking for it because she's arguing it's relevant to her claims. So it's like when Wayfarer was subpoenaed for their financial records, I could see their argument as to why it shouldn't be relevant. At the time, their claims hadn't been dismissed, and they were alleging, $400 million lawsuit. That's what they were claiming. So Lively did successfully argue and say, "Well, hold on a minute, you're claiming all these damages." Obviously their claims got dismissed, and then they had to compel Lively for her financial records, and she protested and said, "Well, I shouldn't have to provide these." But then Wayfarer said, quite rightly so, that you're going to be claiming damages yourself, so yes, you do have to provide it. But yeah, a request that one party makes is not necessarily going to be the same request that another party makes, and they can't make the request just because it's been requested from them. Agatha, yes, Stephanie motherfucking Jones. That's Mandy's little kind of catchphrase, so it was quite funny. When is the last day for discovery? I gotta go back 1 second. Oh yeah, I've got it here actually. So the last day for document discovery fact discovery is September 30th. It's also September 30th is the deadline for depositions. October 15th is the deadline for expert discovery. It's also the same deadline for all discovery. And then we got motions for summary judgment. That deadline is 5th of November. So, 30th of September is the deadline for discovery, but that doesn't include expert discovery. All discovery is October 15th. Sorry, that took a little while in because the judge has moved some stuff around. There you go. Copper Mountain has confirmed that, yes, September 30th, and summary judgment is the 5th of October. Not October, November. My voice is now going and I'm getting a bit tired, so I am going to jump off. Yes, October 15th is all discovery, including expert and fact discovery. Right, so thank you very much for coming, everyone. I really appreciate it. And I will be live tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern with DFJ. But thank you for joining me. It was a little impromptu, but I had to show some love and support for Perez, for my girl CJ. Yes, definitely. Oh, thank you to the mods. Hi, Neil. Yes, it's 1 a.m. nearly here. So, oh wow, really? 2 a.m. Thank you for sticking around with us. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to the mods, and I will be back tomorrow night with DFJ. Take care.